In this video, we're going to give a demo of AssetWorks, and more specifically, the mobile version of AssetWorks. AssetWorks is a software program that can run under Windows. It's used for tracking assets within a facility at different locations. It has a SQL Server backbone and uses an IIS web service as well. But when users are not near a computer, you can also use a Zebra MC3330XR, which is an Android 10 device with an integrated RFID reader and barcode scanner. You can use this to collect asset data from room to room and then sync that to the networked database. So we're going to go through this process. What does this look like, and why is it desirable to use? So in the general topic of asset tracking, you're looking at a fairly well-known database of assets. You may have certain things that are lost, that are missing, that break in the course of a year or a quarter. And so it's not all that uncommon that companies will go through a periodic inventory process to just reestablish what is it that we have and where is it. So it's not, if I traditionally look at how that's done, you might have a location ID system for each room or work cell. In this case, we're going to make an assumption that there's a barcode, but it doesn't have to. And you might have asset tags that are on items, kind of like this. Hopefully they have a barcode so that you can scan it rather than just read text, but that's not necessarily a given. What we're going to show today as a demo is something that is some tags that are used in healthcare, but the process is largely the same, whether you're an industrial customer or your educational facility or medical facility. So what we still have is a database of unique locations and assets distributed throughout that set of locations. So for today's purposes, we're going to assume we have a barcoded location label, and that we're not going to be having tags like this, but rather we are moving to RFID enabled labels. So this is just a barcode printed label. And you can see it's fairly old and uses an inefficient linear type that's hard to read by some scanners. It's easy to damage. And we are recommending that you take advantage of RFID technology by reprinting those tags so that you still have a linear barcode for legacy hardware, legacy scanners, right? But we also incorporate a more robust, reliable, and space-efficient two-dimensional barcode. Same information as the linear barcode, but put that on there as well. Same printed information, but we're also now including a chip. And that chip can be encoded with the same data as in the barcode so that you can emulate multiple individual barcode scans with a single trigger pull of an RFID reader. Okay. So the app itself looks something like this. When you walk into a room, you scan the location barcode. The local database that has been loaded on this reader via a sync process will tell you what should be there, and it will color code it as orange. This is what you should be able to see, right? And then as you go forward, you can use either the barcode scanner or the RFID scanner or both. And for the things that you read, those orange assets will then turn green, indicating you've confirmed that they are truly inventoried, they exist, they're still used, everything's good. And then this information gets updated on the local database, and as we come back to sync up with the network, we can update the company database with this new information, right? So we're going to go through this process and show how it works with a live demo that I have here. I have this app running on this MC3330XR. I'm going to start from scratch here. This is an Android device. Here's the home page. I have an AssetWorks icon here, settings for an Android setup. Nothing unusual here. If you've got an Android phone, you've seen this before. Okay. Back button, home button, and application list. I'm running a mirroring software here, so you can see it on my PC as well. But largely, this is equivalent to an iOS double tap on your home button. Okay, so let's start the app. As it pops up, you'll see an interface with a navigation bar at the top. You can drag over and see a few things. Largely, the things you're going to be looking at on a daily basis are scan room and more. More is a kind of a settings area. You can, under app settings, you can set the power for the RFID reader. If you're reading too many tags and you're reading through walls, you can lower the power. That will decrease your read range, but sometimes you want that. So in my demo app, I want to do that. So I've lowered that to 50, but you can go to 100. You can also do things like define what kind of sync you're going to do to the database, and I usually pick on server. It's faster. You hit save. You can set up the web connection to your AssetWorks network web service by simply knowing what the IP address or the name server for that is here. I generally choose to do a manual sync, so I don't have to have an auto sync interrupt an inventory process. And batch mode is for locally installed versions of AssetWorks, which is what we're talking about here. So I'll come back to hit save. I'll even sync the database here just to show you what that kind of looks like. I'll have to log in. In this particular case, I just have a generic account that I'm going to use. All right, and if I sync the app, you'll see it happens pretty quick. I think in this particular one database, I may have 11,000 assets and maybe 2,000 locations. And that happens in seconds. It's very quick. And the process for going out and scanning a room works something like this. You hit scan room location. You want to see that at the top. And you have two modes here for reading. Do I want to read with the barcode scanner or the RFID reader? And since my location tags don't have chips in them, they're just printed labels, I'm going to go ahead and scan that, that barcode. Right? And that'll come up with these 8 assets that should be in this room as defined by the network database. You can see I'm not pulling in just a subset. I'm pulling in the entire record here. So I can go in and I can edit. If I find that the serial number, for example, was written wrong, I can actually go in and edit this right here. Right now I'm just worrying about inventory process. So now I'm going to switch to RFID. I could continue with barcode scanning, and I could just scan individual barcodes, but that means I actually have to put my eyeballs on those assets. And what if they're in drawers? What if they're behind somebody's desk or under somebody's desk? It takes a long time to actually physically locate a barcode and scan it in some of these situations. So I'm going to switch to RFID mode, and I'm going to pull my trigger, and you're going to see at the top I'm going to scan a number of codes. I scanned a lot more than 8. So what happened to the 8? Well, they're all green. So the items that were yellow are now green. But in addition, I have something that's blue and I have something that's pink. What does that mean? Well, in the user guide that comes with this, I have a little chart here, and I'm going to pull it up just so you can see what it looks like. There are 4 basic colors for the assets here. The orange is where you begin. It identifies what should be in the room. Green defines the items that you have confirmed are in the room, either with a barcode scan or an RFID scan. Blue indicates something that you read, but the database says, wait a minute, it should be in a different room. And the pink items are things that it doesn't understand what it is. It read an RFID tag, but its value doesn't match anything in the database. Typically, you can ignore those things. Those are going to be things that are maybe industry tags for some other purpose, or there might be a FedEx label or something like that. So for our purposes here today, we're going to ignore anything that's pink, but we are going to deal with this item that's blue. So if I go back and I look at this one blue tag, if I look at it and I go, oh, it really is here, right? I can, I can, darn it, I actually did that again. I'm going to hit this again. Uh, I'm going to start over. I apologize, but I'm going to start over, right? Here's my room, and it says, you just did this. Yeah, I'm going to do it again. Here's my stuff. It shows the stuff that was found before, so I'm all good there. Notice it doesn't show the blue stuff. So let's take some tags. Let's make even more blue stuff. So let's say I went in and I did an RFID read, and I found more than just one blue item. Maybe I found a bunch of blue items. Let's see if I can find some other stuff here. Right? Now I got all these blue items. So if you go through the list and you go, okay, well, that truly is here. Let's take that and let's just click that one blue asset and we'll say, yeah, it's physically here. I can see it. So I'm going to move that asset, right? And now I've turned it from blue to green, and I now have 9 assets that are in this room. When I sync with the database, that new information for this room will be uploaded to the company database. Now, if I had a whole bunch of things that were in that room, I don't really want to do that one by one. So fortunately, you can just click on any one of these and you can say move all unexpected. Unexpected is a weird thing. They should have probably just said blue tags. So if we say move all unexpected, you'll see all of those blue items go green. Okay, so now you have just the green and the pink. And again, we're just going to ignore anything that's pink because the database doesn't know what it is anyway. Okay, so we're done with this room. We can back out and we can start the process all over again with another room. So I will take, let's try this room here. I will scan this barcode. And, whoops, sorry, did not have my reader in the right spot. I was in the wrong room. There we go. All right, I'm going to pick a different room. I guess I have something that is not known at all. So we'll pick this one. This one has 2 items that should be there. I'll switch to RFID mode and I'll scan again. And there I get, again, the same situation of the orange go green, but I found something else and I go, you know what, that's in a different room. You can just leave it the way it is and not do anything with that. Okay. Remember that if you do have something that is missing, it's still orange and it doesn't go green, you can actually right click that item and just say, or not right click it, you can click that item and say that it's missing, right? So there's all kinds of options when you scan a room. If you can't find that particular information for that room, you can change the status for that. Then when you sync, come back here, hit more, sync app, do that, and it goes back up to the network server, and now everybody knows the scan results that you've just obtained. And that's largely how this process works. It's a combination of barcode and RFID, but using RFID in a smart way to radically reduce the amount of time it takes to do inventory.